All right, let's do this. Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy and stupid sports and entertainment podcast that's hosted by a giant mess. That's me, the real cinch, Neal Lynch. I'm a former fourth-string college quarterback and middling middle relief pitcher with a stupid film and media studies degree that cost me $120,000 in smackaroos. And now I'm a single dad who loves to just talk about Giants football and Mets baseball and movies and TV shows. Woo! And I like to tell some funny stories along the way. On today's episode, take a wild fucking guess what we're going to talk about. That's right, the New York Football Giants was yet another season-opening embarrassing loss. 28-6 to the Minnesota Vikings. Oh my God. I'm going to break that down. We'll recap that bullshit. And then we'll give you a preview of the Commanders game. And don't worry about the preview. It's not going to be very long. I'll tell you that much. So without further ado, let's get it started up in here. The New York Giants lost to the Minnesota Vikings 28-6. Week 1, 2024 regular season opener at home, honoring 100 years of New York Giants football, wearing the shittiest fucking uniforms you could ever fucking imagine in your fucking goddamn fucking life. Oh, the Montreal Canadiens? We look like the Montreal Canadiens? No shit, dude. I cannot believe back-to-back season openers like this. Back-to-back. When the schedule first came out, I said, I spot 2 guaranteed wins. And I thought, man, I'm being a little hard on this team that after that embarrassing home opener loss, humiliating primetime fashion to the Cowboys 40-0, I didn't think they would win a single game, and miraculously they won 6. And I give kudos to Brian Daboll for not letting the season go to complete shit and not pulling a Ben McAdoo and getting his ass canned. Not pulling a Joe Judge and doing a QB sneak on 3rd and forever. Okay? I gave him kudos. And I said, he might have the goods, the stuff to turn this fucking ship around and to get us on the right path back to success, prominence, respect, which we do not have from the league. Literally everyone and anyone thinks we're a joke. I thought we were better on paper last year than we were in 2022, a playoff season, which is now proving to be an absolute total fluke. Just a fluke. We just got lucky. And if you ask a lot of Giants haters out there, they'll say our 2007 Super Bowl was lucky and our 2011 Super Bowl was lucky. And you know what? I agree with them. Fuck it. Yeah, we were lucky. We were lucky to make the playoffs in 2022. I thought we got better in 2023. Everyone claimed injuries, myself included, said injuries is what derailed that season. It was injuries. It wasn't the coaching or the players. It was injuries. No, it's the coaching. It's the players. It's all over the organization at this point. It is a fucking cancer. It's a virus that is going all throughout this goddamn organization, this rich, illustrious organization who with 100 years of lore and history. I'm done with it, man. I'm done with it. I cannot have... Why am I getting so worked up about this goddamn team? Why do I get so worked up and emotional about this friggin' team, dude? And I know we're not supposed to, like... I know we're not... All right. Schedule release, 2 wins. I had them down. And then I talked myself into the fact that we can get a win here and we can get a win there. And maybe we can get to 9-8 or 10-7. And then at one point I actually said out loud 11-6. And I'm a sucker. Just like every other Giants fan is a fucking sucker. Because we keep buying bullshit. This organization keeps selling us on things. They thought that Hard Knocks off-season was going to sell us on this fucking team and the strategy and the direction. And my God, we gobbled it up. And no, I don't think there's one of us out there who honestly really thinks that we're a Super Bowl contender. But maybe we'll get lucky like we did in 07 and 2011 and 2022. Like maybe we'll just get lucky. The ball will bounce our way. Other teams will have injuries. Preseason rolls around. We hardly get to see any of our starters do anything, which I wholeheartedly disagree with. There is absolutely, when you are a shit team with a shit roster, or you are an unproven team who has historically a pretty craptastic track record over the past fucking decade, start your starters in the preseason for at least a half, maybe 3/4, because they need the reps. And you want to know why? Because I have to listen to this shit for the first 3-4 weeks of the season. We have to listen to people be like, well, it's preseason for the starters. It's preseason for the starters. It's preseason for the starters. You know what's preseason for the starters? Preseason. Play your team in the preseason. You have a bunch of new components, new guys in the lineup, new offensive line, new wide receiver, new running back. Play them in the preseason. And if you're worried about them getting hurt, you don't deserve a job. It's football. People get hurt. The best ability is availability. If you are a football player and you are constantly getting hurt, you cannot play football. Case in point, the motherfucker you're looking at and listening to right now got hurt all the goddamn time. I am currently not a professional football player. I guarantee you, if I did not get injured as much as I did, I would have a much longer career. You can't play football, get hurt, and not play. Okay? It's that simple. This whole we have to preserve our starters. You know what? If you are worried about your starters getting hurt, that says to me and to a lot of people, you have zero depth. And guess what? We have zero depth. So not only are our starters not capable of playing and starting and functioning, but now we don't have the people to fill in for them. Your roster sucks. The team sucks. Okay? How we got to 6 wins last year is, honest to God, a mystery. Either teams came in and just like phoned it in, decided to mail it in, and like didn't give us any kind. And I get it, man. We're the fucking Giants. That name no longer carries any kind of weight or credibility in this league. It does not. We were the worst team to win the Super Bowl. We were the worst team to make the playoffs. Worst. So we haven't been a powerhouse for a very long time. You're fooling yourself if you think you're a powerhouse. So it's preseason for the starters. It's week 1. No. I'm sorry. You had so long to prepare for this. You had so fucking long to prepare for this. So goddamn long. It took you forever to bring in GVR. Why'd that happen? You're constantly trying to put Band-Aids on the offensive line, and while they played somewhat better, I would say the best we've seen of the past, well, I don't even know. Put a number on it. You still have so many goddamn holes on this roster. And to see Joe Schoen with that fucking shit-eating grin during the draft, after the draft, and whatever. I mean, you can tell he's beginning to crack. That one press conference where it's like, oh, you guys trying to win? And they're like, what do you think we're trying to do? Well, yeah, no shit. Try harder, dude. I don't know. Try harder or you're just not the guy. Sometimes you try. Like, listen, I'm a tryhard. I've tried hard my whole fucking life. It's got me nowhere. I just don't have the talent. Sometimes you just don't have the talent. But even I was caught off guard that heading into the season opener, we were like, I couldn't believe that we were picked to finish second to last in the NFC ahead of the fucking Panthers. I was then even more surprised to see we were not favored at home against the Vikings. A team that missed the playoffs last year. Yes, Kirk Cousins got hurt. Yes, Justin Jefferson got hurt. Yes, their defense wasn't exactly with it together. We are as good as, if not better than, the Minnesota Vikings. I thought. But I mean, it's one thing to get blown out at home in prime time in the opener, coming off a playoff season with high expectations against the Dallas Cowboys, who legitimately in the regular season proved themselves to be a juggernaut, blowing out teams left and right. That's one thing, especially when you lose your all-pro left tackle, which is just an excuse at this point. It's just an excuse. I mean, you see the fucking Rams go toe-to-toe with the goddamn Lions in Detroit, missing like half their goddamn offensive line. Step it up. Get better players. Make better plays. Make better decisions. It's another thing to get your shit pushed in by the fucking Vikings with Sam goddamn Ghost-seeing Darnold. And, as much as people want to shit on Sam Darnold, myself included, who's to say he can't have a Geno Smith renaissance? Geno Smith, former Jets quarterback, sucked with the Jets, bounces around, ends up with Seattle, Pro Bowler. Massive contract. Sam Darnold sucks with the Jets, bounces around, ends up with the Vikings. He could go on to have a fucking Pro Bowl season this year, get a massive contract extension. Are we sensing a theme here? And it's going to contradict what I'm about to say about Daniel Jones. Because, Geno Smith was 6-7 years into his career before it started to click. Sam Darnold 6-7 years into his career before it started to click. Daniel Jones is in year 6. It ain't clicking. And this is not a hot take. This is not like a bold prediction. Daniel Jones will not be the quarterback of the Giants next year. He will bounce around. He will end up on a team, and he could pull a Geno Smith or a Sam Darnold and be a serviceable, a slightly above average quarterback that makes a Pro Bowl and gets another extension. He could have a career renaissance. It's not with the Giants, because this is a fucking broken man, and there are so many reasons for it. So many reasons. And Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are two of the bigger reasons. Okay? What happened to the guy that we saw in 2019? What the fuck happened to him? I'll tell you what happened. Poor offensive line play, multiple coaches, blah, 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 blah. Again, excuses. I am officially done defending Daniel Jones because there's nothing more that we can do. The guy broke his fucking neck last year getting blindside hit. He then came back and tore his ACL. The guy is absolutely broken. This is a make or break year for Daniel Jones. He's broken. We know that. He's broken. The guy can't function in a pocket now. The guy now has a pocket to throw from, and he can't do it because he is Sam Darnold from a few years ago. Daniel Jones is seeing ghosts, just like Sam Darnold saw ghosts, because his offensive line fucking sucks so much, and his coaching sucks so much. Brian Daboll said this in the press conference, and who knows if he actually means it, but he is directly responsible for what the fuck is going on in the field, and so is Joe Schoen. If we had not made the playoffs in 2022, would they even be around this year? I don't know. Here's where I'm at with those two. It's one of two things. I'm leaning towards this. Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll sat down with John Mara and they said, hey, look, here's the deal. We are really fucked. Like, this is a bad team. This is a bad roster. This is a bad organization. And we're not going to get it hammered out in 3 seasons. You need to give us minimum 5 seasons to turn this fucking thing around. Minimum. That is the only way that I can see. Because, like, legitimately, if we pull off another 6-11 season with a fully healthy roster, meaning like similar kind of situation to 2022, where it's like the most of the roster was healthy. We didn't have a lot of big injuries where guys missed a lot of games to major players. If we have everyone healthy and we go 6-11 and we have more games like this than we don't, what is pointing towards, the team we're on the right path? Like, if you're John Mara, what exactly is saying to you, stay the course, 1,000 points of light, fucking George Bush? Like, what? Joe Schoen is not a general manager. He's a first-time general manager, and I think he's learning a lot on the job. I think he needs to go back to being an assistant general manager somewhere else. Brian Daboll is not a head coach. He's a first-time head coach, and I'm not even sure if he's a capable offensive coordinator, and he's sure as shit not a quarterback guru. Everyone wants to claim that he's the reason Josh Allen is Josh Allen. No, Josh Allen is motherfucking Josh Allen, dude. The dude's got talent out the ass and made Brian Daboll look good. Okay? That's what's going on right now. And I say all this because you can't, what about you says that Brian Daboll's a good head coach? What about it? Okay, he won Coach of the Year 2022. Was it justified? Only because we had years and years of incompetence, horrible drafts, poor free agency moves across multiple regimes. And we made the playoffs with a team that no one thought would make the playoffs. Jim Fossil won Coach of the Year. Jim Fossil took us to the playoffs multiple times. Jim Fossil, who was an offensive guru with the worst offense in 97, 98 and into 99. One of the worst offenses. This guy, Daboll's not a head coach. I'm sorry. He's not. I've lost all faith in Daboll. I've lost all faith in Schoen. I've lost all faith in Daniel Jones is done. I mean, I tweeted it. He's officially cooked. We can close the book on Daniel Jones. And for everyone saying it's week one, hardly any of the quarterbacks threw for over 200 yards. All of them were throwing for less than 170, 180. Okay, sure. But I want you to look at the stats on Brian Daboll. Offensive coordinator for Cleveland for 2 years. They were one of the worst offenses in the fucking league. Passing wise, towards the bottom. Now, is that on your quarterback? Sure. Brady Quinn, whatever. He's the offensive coordinator for Miami. They suck dick. He's the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. They suck dick. So, he's no longer offensive coordinator for 5 seasons. He joins up with the Patriots. He's a tight ends coach, blah, 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 blah. Offensive coordinator for the Bills. They're pretty good rushing offense. Passing is among the worst in the league. 2019 comes around. Josh Allen comes around, and the passing offense, still ranked towards the bottom of the league. 2020 and 2021. So he had 2 seasons, offensive coordinator 2020 and 2021, where the offense was good. And that was enough for Joe Schoen, who he worked with in Buffalo, to get the nod. And we've been a bottom 5 offense the past 3 years. So for everyone saying that he's this guru in coaching, I mean, I've watched, I know you're not supposed to take a lot from clips out of context, but I've seen enough clips to see that the team is not well coached. It is not well coached. And because why? I mean, we'll fucking get into it, but Jesus Christ. I mean, I had a conspiracy theory while watching this game. I was like, Brian Daboll is purposely calling horrific plays to make Daniel Jones look bad so that he can be like, see, he's not the guy. Let's bench him. That honestly ran through my head because I was like, this motherfucker took over play calling from Mike Kafka because Mike Kafka wasn't calling the right plays and was not dialing it up the right way. And that's the bullshit that we got on Sunday. This was the big, he's dynamic. He's going to open it up. He's going to throw deep. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. It's going to look different. It's going to look. That was he called design quarterback runs on back-to-back plays at the Minnesota 48. Was it 3rd and 5? Quarterback run with Daniel Jones. He gets 2 or 3. 4th and 2, 1. Quarterback run with Daniel Jones. You're either trying to get the motherfucker hurt, coming off a goddamn ACL and neck injury, or you don't know what you're doing. DJ shot. Joe Schoen made the wrong choice by signing him to a contract extension. That's clear now. I was cool with it at the time because Jesus Christ, Daniel Jones was doing things that a New York Giants quarterback, not just a New York Giants quarterback, any fucking NFL quarterback in the history of the goddamn league has ever done. He did it in a fucking playoff game on the road. So, yeah. And I mean, you look at the contracts that are handing out now to Dak and Jalen Hurts, and it's like, it pales in comparison. So I was like, yeah, I wanted to sign Jones and Saquon to long-term contracts because when those two get together, it seems like good things happen more times than not. And instead, he gives the contract to fucking Daniel Jones. He doesn't sign Saquon. And you know what? I mean, like, maybe he did try and maybe he got exhausted by the whole thing situation in 2022. And I honestly do think that Saquon wanted no part of this team anymore. But, if you're going to prioritize, I would have gave the especially after what we fucking saw on Friday night with Saquon against the goddamn Packers. I mean, you could not have asked for a worse outcome for goddamn Giants fans. Was Saquon scoring 3 goddamn touchdowns and having over 100 scrimmage yards, which is exactly what we needed on Sunday. He was our best offensive weapon. We let him go. We thought that Malik Neighbors could fill in that production, which is kind of outrageous if you think about it. And we got bit in the ass. We should have franchise tagged Daniel Jones. We should have given the contract extension to Saquon Barkley. Because guess what? We wouldn't be dealing with Daniel Jones right now, would we? You franchise tag Daniel in 2023. He comes out, he gets hurt. Hey, man, that sucks. I'm sorry. But you have not been able to prove yourself to stay healthy. We got to move on. And you can see the argument that Daboll and Schoen are building right now. They're going to continue to trot out fucking Daniel Jones and be like, see. And then after the season, they meet up with Mara and they say, hey, we gave it a shot. We tried our best. He's not our guy. We're going to officially move on from him. We're going to cut him. We're going to take on so much goddamn dead cap. And then we're going to go and draft our guy. Or we're going to trade for a guy or get a guy in for, I don't know. But they need, quote unquote, their guy to take snaps first before there's a judgment. And then they're going to get their guy. And then they're going to come back and say, well, you can't really judge him year one. You need to give him 2 or 3 years. We gave Daniel 6 years, so we need to give our guy 6. It's just like, you know what? Fuck you. You came from the Bill Parcells tree. You came from the Bill Belichick tree. You see those motherfuckers saying that they need their guy? Phil Simms was not Bill Parcells' guy. Bill Parcells benched Simms in the year he took over as head coach in '83. Belichick didn't have a fucking quarterback until, Notice that we don't call Daniel Jones Danny Dimes anymore. We gave him the nickname Danny Dimes for a reason. The guy could put it on a dime. That's the whole reason for the fucking nickname, and the guy can't do it anymore. He is not accurate. And for Brian Daboll to be helmed and praised and hailed as this fucking quarterback guru and can't get it as simple as, hey, point your toe and lead the guy, it says a lot about your quarterback, but it also says a lot about your fucking head coach, who is probably so goddamn focused on the quarterback and the offense, yet still not getting any results, that the defense has suffered tremendously. And the special teams and the decisions that fucking matter from a head coach. You ever talk to Bill Belichick? You ever see an interview with Bill Belichick? He is thinking about he knows the rule book inside and out. He's playing chess. Brian Daboll is playing checkers. There are so many goddamn transactions and moves and oversights that slip through the cracks and that leak through this fucking coaching regime, this coaching staff. I don't think Daboll, as a first-time head coach, is ready for the big spotlight in this stage. He is making mistakes left and right, little mistakes that end up costing the team. TJ has thrown more pick sixes to the other team than he has thrown touchdowns to his own guys. Sam Morrill, a comedian, said, if I have a week to live, I'm going to watch a bunch of Daniel Jones games because it'll feel like an eternity. WBG84 on Twitter. He's had more make or break seasons than Kiss at farewell tours. Dan Schneier said, just 1/2, but I can't even remember a quarterback in his 6th year plus 3rd straight in the same system look as uncomfortable as in a pocket as Daniel Jones in that first half. It just looks like he's in panic mode back there too often. Dan Pizzuta, Justin Pennick mentioned this on Talking Giants. Daniel Jones has the highest expected completion percentage of the afternoon at almost 80% per Next Gen Stats, and he had a 3.8 yard average depth of target and completed 53.3%. Gridiron Media. If Daniel Jones continues to play with energy like he did today, then they should take the C off his jersey. I absolutely, wholeheartedly fucking agree, dude. The leash on him has got to be short. Unless Schoen and Daboll made a deal with Mara, and they said, listen, we're going to show you what you've got at quarterback. This is your QB1. We're going to ride with him for the whole season, and you can see just how fucking awful this guy has become, and they're going to take zero responsibility for that. They're going to be like, it's on him. We told him to do this. He didn't do that. Giants realist on Twitter. Unless Mara was directly responsible for the Jones contract, Schoen should be fired over it. I fucking agree. And people saying Jones is going to cost Daboll and Schoen their job. You got to take responsibility and accountability for it. You have to. He was a QB1. We've seen him play far better. And under your supervision, he's gotten worse. It goes up. It goes up. And the fact that we could have signed Baker Mayfield, who threw for almost 300 yards and 4 tutties against the Commanders in week 1, I would murder thousands of children to have Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. My God, dude. My God. And yeah, things didn't turn out well in Carolina. Has anything turned out well in Carolina for the past however many years? They have a real problem on their hands down in Carolina. He goes to LA and performs pretty well with little to no preparation. And then he's just excelling in Tampa. So how does this performance for Daniel Jones rank all time? He's played in 61 total games. Of the games he has started and finished, right? So this is not, he's not coming up in mop-up duty. It's not he's removed or injured. This is the second worst completion percentage of his career. It's the third worst QB rating of his career. Last year's opener was the worst. And it's the fifth worst yards gained per attempt. The guy's not getting better. What happened to him last year has unbelievably long-lasting effects. I think we have minimized how fucking destructive that season was for Daniel Jones. It ended his career. Do I still want to see him do well? Fuck yeah, dude. I would love for him to do well. I was dying for him to do well. I love a good comeback story. It's just not going to be with the Giants. It's going to be with another team. And, devil's advocate. Let's make some more excuses. Well, we suck against the Vikings. We really do. We really do have a horrible regular season matchup against the Vikings. In the playoffs, it's a little bit of a different story-ish, but we just suck against the Vikings, especially our quarterbacks. You look at Eli Manning versus the Vikings. He was 3-6 in 9 games. 54.3% completion percentage, which was among the lowest, second or third lowest. 5 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He had a 56.1 rating. We're talking about Eli Manning, future Hall of Famer Eli Manning, 56.1 rating. I don't think there's any other team that he played worse against. So when it comes to, you could chalk it up to that. You could say historically, they just have our number. We shit the bed against them. And it's like, all right, fine. That's part of it. But I think we've all seen enough of Daniel Jones to know that the guy, how long is the leash? He plays his best against the Commanders. So I don't know that you can use that as a measuring stick. It's like if he comes out and absolutely shits the bed against the Commanders, I think you got your answer right there. I don't think you really need to expect anything more out of Daniel Jones this season. If he comes out and plays well or good, it's like, well, yeah, dude, you always historically play well against the Commanders, and the Commanders aren't expected to do much this year. So it's like, the real test comes in week 3 and week 4. Week 3, he comes out and shits the bed again. I think you've seen enough. But then they're not going to do it. They're not going to bench him. They're not going to do it. So is Daniel Jones, Phil Simms, or Dave Brown? And I've used this. I mean, trust me, I've used Phil Simms as the reason to give quarterbacks repeated chances and opportunities because of his career. And I still to this day, and maybe this is it. Maybe the Daniel Jones has done it. Maybe Daniel Jones has broken me just as he's broken the entire fan base. Phil Simms is a unicorn. He is the exception to the rule. There are hardly any other quarterbacks out there that are like Phil Simms, and we just need to accept that. Not every quarterback that gets off to a shitty start or to a lackluster start, riddled by injuries, will come back and win you 2 Super Bowls. Phil Simms is a unicorn. That being said, is Daniel Jones Phil Simms or Dave Brown, the fucking Duke quarterback that we drafted in the supplemental draft in 1992? Daniel has 7 comebacks and 9 game-winning drives. His best years in 2022, where his approximate value was 15. He started 16 to 17 games, 9-6-1, over 3,000 yards, 15 tutties, 5 receptions, the lowest interception percentage of the league. So he got off to a really great start. Rookie year, 12 games started, over 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He has not thrown over 20 or more touchdowns in a season since then. So while the turnover rate has come down, right? He's not throwing as many interceptions, at least through 2022. He was bringing his turnovers down, being smarter with the ball. This same thing. So with that, his big play capability, his ability to make plays has also gone down. So while he's playing safe with the ball, he's not taking as many risks and he's not getting as many big chunk plays. I know it's crazy to say, but bring back rookie Daniel Jones, a guy who just scrambles and throws it down the field. Bring him back. I don't know how you bring him back, but bring him back somehow. Get that time machine fucking cranked up, dude, and go back and kidnap him and bring him into the future. Because the guy we have now is a shell of himself. All right. So you want to compare him to Phil Simms, right? I mean, Phil finished second in offensive rookie of the year, his rookie year. Okay. And that's with numbers. I'm looking at him and I'm like, damn, the NFL was a different time and place in 1979. Holy shit. Because he was 6-5 in 11 games started, threw for less than 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, with a QB rating of 66. And this guy was finished second, tied for second offensive rookie of the year by the AP. 1980 goes 3-10, throws for like 2,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, 58.9 rating. 81, 5-5 in 10 games, throws for 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. So none of these numbers are really jumping off the page, right? They kind of look lackluster, mediocre, approximate value of 6 across the board. He misses the season in 82 due to an injury. Parcells benches him in 83. He sees 2 games total, doesn't start a single game, goes 7-13 for 130 yards. Parcells names him the starter in 84. He then throws for more than 4,000 yards. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in his fifth, technically his sixth, 84 was Simms' 6th season, and that's when he had his breakout season. This is supposed to be the breakout season for Daniel Jones. And, you know, I guess maybe I should have clicked into that first game to see how Phil performed in that first game of his 6th season. But I'm going to go on a limb and say that it wasn't as shitty as this outcome. Simms had 11 comebacks and 17 game-winning drives. You know, when you think about Phil Simms and his numbers, what they compare to career-wise, it's like Joe Flacco, ironically, Kerry Collins, Jay Cutler, Jim Everett, Jim Plunkett, Drew Bledsoe, Andy Dalton. You know, is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? You can make an argument. Then you have Dave Brown, who we drafted in 92, supplemental draft. He sat in 92 and 93 behind Phil. He then is named the starter after Phil is cut in 94. Leads the team to a 9-6 record. 12 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 9 approximate value, one comeback, fourth quarter comeback, 3 game-winning drives. So it's like, all right, not exactly like Pro Bowl type stuff, but he's at least he's winning games. And then in 95, he goes 5-11, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, you know, rating of 73.1, approximate value of 10. So he plays slightly better. 96, he takes a really big step back, 6-10, 12 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, with a rating of 61.3. And then 97, he's benched for Danny Cannell. So they gave him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it was year 6 that they pulled the plug. You know, they gave him this almost 4 seasons. They gave him 3 full seasons to get it right. And then by the game week 6 or 7, they're like, this ain't it, homie. You're costing us games. And that's, to me, you want to talk about leashes? You want to talk about how long is the leash? Is Daniel Jones more Phil Simms than Dave Brown? Daniel Jones has done more in his time than Dave Brown has. And he actually did more than Phil Simms did in his first 5 seasons. But I don't even think you need to get to week 6 or 7 to tell that this guy, I mean, you want to use that whole preseason bullshit on me, like the preseason, this is preseason for the starters. Okay, the preseason is 3 weeks. If week 4 he comes out and lays another fucking turd, if a guy is open, throw him the ball and throw it accurately. I mean, don't overcomplicate the situation. You're going to tell me to sit there and we didn't miss Saquon Barkley? Devin Singletary, 10 carries, 37 yards with a long of 7. So he basically averaged 3 yards a carry. 5 targets, 4 catches, 15 yards. He had a long of 12. So he honestly had 3 more catches for 3 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson had 12 goddamn targets, 6 catches, 44 yards. Malik Neighbors, 7 targets, 5 catches, 66 yards with a long of 25. Why that Malik Neighbors has 7 targets, I don't know. Malik Neighbors needs double-digit targets every single game. Every game. Force feed him the fucking ball. And Jalen Hyatt, who is supposedly a starter, running with the first team, played 16 offensive snaps, 23% of the 71 snaps, 1 target, 1 drop. I mean, he didn't help his cause by having the 1 drop. Catch the ball and maybe you'd play more. I don't know. Ben Ginkel had another fucking field day with Daniel Jones with the pick 6. Saw it coming a mile away, as did every other fan in the booth and everyone else watching that fucking game. And our defense got cooked by Sam Darnold, who is the next Geno Smith. 19 to 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception that, by the grace of God, we still have Dexter Lawrence, who knows for how long, though. I mean, there are already people talking about how we should trade him. We're going to trade him and Okereke at the deadline to get to more draft capital to what? Draft more shitty players? 113 QB rating. I mean, we kind of held Justin Jefferson in check. He only had 4 catches, 59 yards and a touchdown with a long of 44. You take away that long of 44, it's like we kind of held him in check. Addison was, Nick McLeod is not, they were just taking advantage of him, just throwing his way as much as possible. So he's not the answer at CB2. CB2 was a goddamn question mark for most of last season. We were saying, I don't think Adoree Jackson has got it anymore. We then went into the offseason. We draft a slot corner in Drew Phillips, who I played well in fairly limited time. I mean, he had a high Pro Football Focus grade, but I think he didn't play that many snaps. I don't think. 99 yard scoring drive, 0 incompletions, and you end up bringing back Adoree Jackson anyway. I mean, what the fuck are we doing, man? We generated 0, other than Dexter Lawrence, we generated 0 pressure on the quarterback. Brian Burns, big fat goose egg. Kayvon Thibodeau, big fat goose egg, and a face mask penalty to boot that extended a drive. Isaiah Simmons, 0 defensive snaps. I mean, literally, Carl Banks was saying, it was gushing over how Shane Bowen is going to unlock Isaiah Simmons. And in training camp, he's running with the ones, and he's in this special package, and he has his position now. He's got this special position where they're going to fully utilize him. 0 defensive fucking snaps. Weapon X. Nope. What the fuck happened? I don't understand Brian Daboll. I just don't. And his approval rating in my head is 0% at this point. The fact that you went out last season and you had that happen to you on your home turf in prime time, and you had it happen to you again, week 1, at home opener, 100th season, all the legends in the building, and you let it happen again. Nah, dude, you're not the guy. You're not the guy, pal. Penalties like crazy. 18 third down opportunities. 18. And I've seen enough clips, and I didn't review the whole tape and the film. I don't need to. I've seen plenty of clips to suggest that Daniel Jones had guys open down the field. When he had a clean pocket, when he had a good pocket, he still ran into sacks. There were 5 sacks. People will look at that and say the offensive line still sucks. Nope. I watched the game. I saw clean, good pockets for him to move around in and to make plays, and the guy ran into sacks. He ran into sacks, or he would run it, and he would miss multiple open guys. Multiple open guys. And if I'm Brian Daboll, I don't need to complicate things. I go to Daniel Jones and I say, look for numero uno. Find Malik Neighbors, throw him the ball. That's all you got to do. He's going to get open, and if he isn't open, he will catch the ball anyway. Force feed that motherfucker. Get Malik Neighbors the ball. Especially when you're improvising and you're off platform and you're scrambling. Pick your head up, look up, and find Malik Neighbors. You should know where Malik Neighbors is because it's a designed route. It's a designed play. So you should have an idea of where Malik Neighbors is on the field. Find him, throw him the ball. It's that simple. You want to talk about Daniel Jones is a hyper intelligent guy, but he's unable to process defenses because he's overanalyzing? Coming from the king of overanalysis, this guy right here. Keep it simple, stupid. Dumb it the fuck down and say, if our success in 2022 that apparently everyone knows now is if your first read is not available, attack the B gap. If your first read is not available, attack Malik Neighbors. 18 third down opportunities. I have never seen a fucking number that high. Let's not get to third down. Here's a 5-yard out. Here's a 5-yard slant. First down. Here's a 5-yard in. Here's a 5-yard hitch. First down. Unfucking real, dude. Unreal. And, after the game, Dexter Lawrence gets asked about the booing. I mean, I was booing after that first drive. That 3-and-out to open the season, dude. After watching that, I was like, nothing has changed. We are still so woefully prepared and unable to execute the game plan. It's on the coaching and it's on the players. The coaches had devised a game plan that they think their players can execute, and their players cannot execute it. So guess what? You have to adjust your game plan so that your players can execute. And if your players continue to not be able to execute the fucking game plan that you put into place, you get new fucking players. It's clear that Brian Daboll does not want fucking Daniel Jones as his quarterback. That is 100% clear. And his stubborn ass needs to figure out. Unbelievable, dude. I don't understand how you can come out and play like that. That bubble screen, it's like everyone saw it coming, true. But I think it's Diggy456 or something on YouTube. Film review. Pointed it out. Tripp's right. All 3 guys are blocking the one same guy. What the fuck? The inside guy should block on the inside linebacker. The guy who's directly in front of the guy in the middle, that's your guy. The guy on the right, you go up and get the next guy. How the fuck did all 3 guys go after the same guy? That's Joe Schoen for drafting the wrong kind of players. That's Brian Daboll and his coaching staff, which has been revamped, quote unquote, not getting the message through on this play. Reminder, you get the inside guy, you get the outside guy, you get the guy directly in front of you. And as much as I talked about how, like, year 6, Josh Allen really fucked up the New York Giants. Really did. He really did. Because he is a generational player who admittedly makes a lot of bonehead mistakes sometimes and a lot of times in the red zone that will make you curse the heavens. But the guy is just a maniac. I'd love to have him as my quarterback. Daniel Jones is not Josh Allen, but yeah, I apologize. I used to apologize for I used to apologize. I was an apologist for Daniel Jones. I was a defender. I was a denier, and it's over, man. No more. Have at it. You want to shit on him? Go ahead, because the rest of the league has zero respect for that guy. Zero respect for that guy. Zero respect for the New York Giants as a whole, as a team. And we let our best player, our top player, go to our division rival. Shane fucked up by not getting a CB2. He fucked up by not securing the offensive line in 2023. Shane's fuck-ups, combined with Daboll's fucked up Daniel Jones last year to the point where he is no longer serviceable as a quarterback. That's how I'm playing that blame game. That's how I'm pointing my finger, is that Daniel Jones, wholeheartedly, I'm admitting, is no longer a starting quarterback in the National Football League. And I think the organization did him a disservice, just like the organization fucked over Saquon, just like the organization fucked over Eli Manning at the end of his career, by not doing the things absolutely necessary to make sure that they put those players in a position to fucking succeed. It's on the organization. And so for Dexter Lawrence to say he doesn't respect the fans booing, bro, you are an incredible all-pro Hall of Fame talent. There's no denying it. You are absolutely 1,000% wrong when it comes to the fans booing, because you've only been here since 2019. You weren't here in 2018, in 2017, in 2015, in 2014, in 2013, in 2012, when years of just awful, awful play, but not to this extent. This is so goddamn embarrassing. It's so goddamn embarrassing to watch and to support and to root for. You don't respect it. All right. Well, guess what? Nobody respects your team. They might respect the fuck out of you. You got all the respect. Your team there's no respect for your team. And I mean, the fact that we unretired Ray Flaherty's number one from Malik Neighbors, I have read the crystal ball. I've read the tea leaves. I've seen the future. That motherfucker's not going to stick around after his rookie contract. So we unretired a number for a guy that's going to leave after 3 or 4 years, if even lasts that long. We're heading down a dark path. And this might be the overreaction to end all overreactions. And I'm fine with that. I'm overreacting. Great. That's what I do. I don't even know what the fuck you do to turn this around, other than play out the season. Another regime change. I mean, I don't even know if I have it here. Good coaches get it done, and it doesn't take them very long to get it done. Can you please, for the love of Christ, look at Mike Tomlin? Look at fucking Mike Tomlin. Look at goddamn Pete Carroll. Look at the guys who are long-lasting in this league. You think every roster that they have is top-notch elite roster? The Steelers made the playoffs last year with a third-string quarterback. It comes down to coaching. Every player is on an NFL roster because they are good. It's the coach's responsibility to get the most out of them, to install and instill good habits. Brian Daboll is not doing that. He's just not. Is Brian Daboll better than Joe Judge? Yes. Is Brian Daboll better than Pat Shurmur? Yes. Is Brian Daboll as good as Jim Fossil? No. He's not. Brian Daboll sure as fuck is not Tom Coughlin. He sure as fuck isn't Bill Parcells. Is he better than Ray Handley? Sure. Maybe. I mean, at least Ray Handley went 8-8, 7-9, and this fucking team hated him. But that's because he had the talent. It's not an overreaction, dude. And and if he, we'll have some cool wins this year. We'll have like a signature win. We'll have like a surprise win, but it'll be 6 wins. And then at the end of the season, you're going to sit there and say, are we in the same boat as we were last year? Or do we really have, like, is it really a matter of just 3 or 4 players? And then look at the goddamn Rams. Look at the goddamn 49ers. Look at the fucking Eagles. I was ready to bury the Eagles after that first drive that they had. They were sleepwalking through that first quarter, and then they just took it to another level the next 3 quarters. Why is it that the fucking Eagles can figure it out and we can't? Riddle me this. Why can the Eagles, everyone's like, well, you can't have a $40 million quarterback on a $12 million running back. The Eagles have that. They have a $50 million quarterback and a $13 million running back, and they looked fucking outstanding. Time will tell with Saquon because, he could get hurt, and we're all looking at it and saying, well, see, that's the downside, and blah, blah, blah. But, I can't do it. I can't sit here and say this is a playoff team. It's just not. As much, and I guarantee they're going to do some shit. They're going to pull some shenanigans like they did last year and make me want to believe. And I'm going to do my goddamn damnedest to say, nope, sorry, I've been there before. I've been there how many years in the past where we've been 2 and goddamn 7 and thinking we're going to make the playoffs. No, we're not making the playoffs. We're not winning the Super Bowl. Okay? This team is not where it needs to be. Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal. Evan Neal's riding the bench. Kevin Thibodeau is getting shut out on a regular basis. And I watched, I think it was from The Athletic, they did a preview of the 2024 Giants season. And they were very down on Kayvon Thibodeau and saying, well, okay, he had 10 sacks, but like half those sacks came against backup of backups, against third-string tackles, fourth-string tackles in some cases. You have to hold your leaders to a higher standard. And if Kayvon thinks he's a leader and he thinks he's this hot shot fucking dude who can be a Pro Bowler or All Pro, who thinks that he could be the next LT, which he's not, you need to start playing like one. Brian Burns, earn your contract. Dexter Lawrence was a goddamn freight train from hell. Just fucking annihilating dudes. It didn't do anything for Brian Burns or Kayvon Thibodeau. 3 straight touchdown drives in a row after having a decent start for the defense. Woof, dude. Fucking woof. Yeah, so that's Giants Vikings. All right. I said this in the intro. I'll say it again. My preview of the Giants' upcoming matchup against the Washington Commanders will not be very long. It'll be muy short. Sunday, 1 o'clock game at Northwest Stadium. Commanders are favored by 2.5. Over-under is 42. Jayden Daniels, the guy that Brian Daboll wanted to trade up for in the draft, went 17 of 24 for 184 yards, 0 touchdowns. I think he added another 88 yards on 16 carries and 2 touchdowns. So that's kind of the numbers you expected from Daniel Jones in week 1. We didn't get it. So I guess the verdict on Daniels so far through week 1 is like, okay, he didn't get the win, but he looks good and he looks better than Daniel Jones. And people were like, see, we should have traded up for Jayden Daniels. Now, what we would have had to give up to a fucking division rival to get Jayden Daniels, a bit ludicrous. I mean, you'd have to offer the farm. And then he's playing with no one. And then we lose with a good quarterback. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. And then Austin Eckler is their leading receiver, 4 catches, 52 yards, which seems about right for a rookie quarterback who needs to check down and dump things off when he's not processing reads down the field. Even though Brian Robinson Jr. is their RB1. We lead the series 108-71, 5 ties. Tommy DeVito went into Washington last year. We won 31-19. Tyrod Taylor at home in our legendary uniforms, the old 80s uniforms, won 14-7. In October 23 and December 22, that was the game where Kayvon had his coming out party and went nuts against the Commanders. It's like if you play great against the Commanders, I don't know that says much for me, and it shouldn't for any other Giants fans. It should be okay. That's what you should do. We won that 2012, even though there was a pass interference in the end zone. Blah blah blah. December 4th was that stupid fucking tie that we had, thanks to John Feliciano's unsportsmanlike conduct. And then, of course, you had Joe Judge's last game in January 2022 when he had the QB sneak, 3rd and forever. So, I don't even want to watch this fucking game, dude. I honestly don't even want to watch this game. I mean, I just don't. I really don't. I mean, barf. Daniels had a 93.1 rating against the Buccaneers, which, the Buccaneers are a pretty good defense. I want to say top 5 defense. They also had a bunch of injuries during that game, so I wonder how much that played a factor into him playing so well. He did fumble 3 times, so I think this is one of those games where Kayvon can come out and he'll have a strip sack fumble, and everyone will be back on the Kayvon bandwagon, and then he'll go out against like the Browns, or maybe not the Browns because they're missing 2 of their key offensive linemen, but like a team that actually has all their starting offensive linemen, and he'll get shut out again. You have to deal with Terry McLaurin, who didn't do much against the Commanders. They have Zach Ertz now, who historically was a Giants killer, but has probably lost his step. Jamison Crowder, revenge game, if you're into that. And I guess they have, what was it? Luke McCaffrey, and then they have Lad McConkey, I think, right? Or no? McConkey might be on another team. That's on offense. I'm not terribly worried about their offense. I do think Daniels will probably have a highlight or 2. Honestly, I don't know. Is the defense going to step it up and be like, we just lost to fucking Sam Darnold, and actually, come out guns firing and actually do something about it? Or are they going to continue to play this Mickey Mouse bullshit? That's offense. And then the Commanders' defense, we just have to kind of keep our eyes on Bobby Wagner. Their big pickup. He had 10 combined tackles in week 1, 3 tackles for losses. Clelin Ferrell, Jonathan Allen are still the 2 big guys up front for them. They both had a QB hit in that game against Tampa. Emmanuel Forbes, a guy that I thought we might draft, has underwhelmed and underperformed for them. So Cade York, talking special teams, Cade York, he missed a couple field goals, so he's been cut, and they brought in some other dudes. So maybe we can count on a couple more missed field goals to keep us in the game, and we'll come out with like a tie. It just seems right to get a tie against the fucking Commanders. I mean, if you lose this game, that's a pretty easy button to smash, right? That's a pretty easy button to click. Can't cancel the season. I don't think that you really need any. There's no need. Keep your hopes up. I'm sick of referring to the 2007 season when we started 0-2, because we literally faced two really good playoff teams. Was it 07 or 11? I think it was 07. The Cowboys and the Packers, who we ended up facing again in the playoffs. The Vikings and Commanders are not playoff teams. So I don't think I've ever been more down on this franchise. I thought 2021 was bad, and it was, but it's kind of another thing when, God, our offense is so bad. And every year we keep trying to convince ourselves that our offense is not bad. I don't understand how you can have a team with fucking Evan Engram, Odell Beckham Jr., and Saquon Barkley and not win games. And that's what happened. We just didn't win games. It's like, why would we win games with the fucking offense we have now? So a win here, a win does not give me any kind of hope here. It does not get me excited. It does not make me think that we have our ducks in a row. It does not make me think that we'll right the ship. A win is like, okay, you were supposed to do that. And then you're supposed to go into Cleveland, a team that got blown out by the Cowboys, who might be missing Njoku. Deshaun Watson is an absolute disaster. They don't have Chubb back. Defense is not what it used to be, I guess. So it's like, you win that. I don't know that gives me a lot of hope. So you're sitting at 2-1, and then you host the Cowboys. And that's going to be a Thursday night game in prime time. And you're going to see us get fucking destroyed and decimated again by Dallas in the national spotlight. People are making fun of Giants fans for saying the season over. The season's over, dude. You can't come out and perform like that against the fucking Vikings. I don't care what their historical record is against us. You just can't. If we win against the Browns, it's like, all right, cool. The real test is the Cowboys. You come out and you go fucking head to head and toe to toe with the Cowboys. Maybe I'll start to think about considering the possibility of getting my hopes up. But I think we're going to go. I mean, if we somehow come out of this 2-1 going into that Dallas game, I fully expect us to lose by multiple scores. Fully expect it. So it's acceptance. It's just trying to accept the fact that I was in denial. It was like at first I'm like, wow, this is a really tough schedule. I don't see a lot of W's. I'm starting to talk myself into it. The more I think about what we got going and the players that we have on the roster and then you just see what they put on display week 1 and you're like, what the fuck? I mean, this is not a year 1 coach. This is not a year 1 roster. This is mostly your guys, quote unquote, with the exception of Daniel fucking Jones. Okay, let's play a what if. Daniel Jones isn't the quarterback. So that means the open receivers are targeted and they're thrown to and they're completed and we're getting first downs. He doesn't throw the pick 6, so you take away 7 there. So it's now 21-6. Okay, he also missed a pass to a player that would have got Gano into field goal range in the first half. So that's an additional 3 points. So he cost us 10 points at least. You then think about the fourth down where he throws the pick to Harrison Smith in the end zone. That could potentially be another 7 points, at least 3. Well, you can't do 3 there because they're not going to. It was a fourth down, so it's a 7. It was in the end zone, so that's a 7. So it's 14 and 17. It's a 17-point swing. We're talking about that. That's a win. I have no qualms with you. You can 1,000% put this game on Daniel Jones. You can 1,000% do that. And who's to say that the defense would have, because the Vikings basically took the foot off the pedal in the fourth quarter and most of the second half. So if it's a game in a contest, who knows how the defense responds to a Vikings offense that's actually trying and participating and pressing. But yeah, Daniel Jones cost us the game. 17 points at least. The pick 6, missed throw to get in field goal range, that's 10. Pick interception in the end zone, that's another 7. 14, 17. 17 points he cost us. So that's on Daniel Jones. So, and this is it's not a real test for Daniel, but if Daniel comes out and sucks shit against the Commanders, you don't need any more proof than that, dude. I don't think you need to go 6 or 7 weeks. I really don't think you do. If they stick with him, you know why they stick with him. It's tank season. We're tanking to get the number 1 pick to get who exactly? That's going to be I see people throwing around Cam Ward from Miami. So, God damn it. God damn it. And you see what's happening in like Miami and San Francisco, and you see how a lot of these other organizations are run and how they're playing. The fucking Colts taking it to the Texans down to the wire. Yeah, the Jags taking it to the Dolphins down to the wire. The Falcons lose at home to the Steelers, but the Steelers have a incredible defense. Rams take it to the Lions when they're all banged up. There are plenty of teams out there that are getting by when they have injuries. And somehow we can't even get by with our goddamn starters. You can't sit there and say Shane and Daboll are the people. I personally would not give them another year. And other people are saying, continuity and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, dude, take a look at the drafts, man. Take a look at the drafts. What guy is your all-pro? What guy is your Pro Bowler? What guy is your lifelong giant? What guy is there? You let Jordan Love walk. He's a Pro Bowler. I agree with letting Xavier McKinney walk, and he'll probably go on to be a Pro Bowler. But fucking A, man. Yeah. So I don't need to beat a dead horse anymore. That's the show. That's the episode. Lottie fucking da. What's up next? I might do a Mets episode. At least the Metros are giving me some kind of reason to live. And then there's I mean, I guess I could do a bunch of movie and TV bullshit that no one cares about. And then a life update, lost my job. So could you tell? So that'll be a fun life episode to do. Life is looking up, you guys. So pumped. And it's all because of my attitude. That's why I'm in the position I'm in, is because of my attitude. Therapy's going to be fun on Thursday. Have a good one, you guys. Adios, muchachos.